Hi, welcome to episode 9 of the D Leier podcast. Today I'm joined by my guest, Diallah. Pretty much today I'm just going to ask her a few questions about her time here at Rancho. Just ask her where she's thinking about college, kind of going into her future, and just kind of have a little bit of a discussion with one of my classmates for the last 4 years. So my first question is how has your experience been at Rancho over the last 4 years? And what are some of your plans for the future?
So I think my experience at Rancho for the last 4 years has been overall pretty positive. I think the fact that it's a small school has really worked to my benefit. I really understand things because I sit in my classes and it almost feels like you're one-on-one with the teacher because there's max 10 people in a room with you.
Yeah, sometimes there's even three or
right
four
now my
kids.
econ class is 2 people. So
Yeah.
it's been really a good experience. I feel like I've learned a lot. And that's just something you don't get at a regular public school, because I've been to public school and it's not the same at all. And I think for my future, being at Rancho, obviously it puts you a little bit in a bubble, and you assume that the only way to be successful right out of high school is to apply to college right away. But I'm 17. I don't know what I want to do in the future. I have some plans and some ideas, but I don't think college is the right move for me in the next year. So I'm taking a gap year and I'm going to Japan.
Yeah, I think that's what you have to do. Just embrace the world and go and travel and explore, especially right now with uncertain times with the pandemic and everything.
Right, there's no
virtual learning is just not it for a lot of people. And
right.
If you have the opportunity to go and travel and experience a different culture, anyone who's ever done that knows how much that can help you grow as a human being, and just those different type of experiences really shape who you are. So I think that's a great idea for you. Why Japan specifically? Just asking.
Yeah. I really like Japanese culture. I've always been really infatuated with it. So it was always a place I wanted to go anyway. And I've lived in a couple different countries. I lived in Canada and I've lived in the States in a couple different states. And I spent a lot of time in Europe, and I really want to see Asia. And if I go to Japan, things like Singapore and China, those are accessible, but then I'm in a really great spot. And I'm really interested in real estate and sustainable real estate. I think that's a big wave of the future because real estate is huge. And the pandemic has proved that nothing is impossible in the real estate market. So I want to go there because they have a surplus of sustainable living communities where they just do things differently, and I think that that's how the future should look.
Well, yeah, no, that's definitely very interesting. Well, now it's time for a word for our sponsor.
A t-shirt that finally makes you stylish.
Nice shirt, Michael. Where'd you
Thanks,
get it?
Nathaniel. This is the new Rancho Solano Halloween themed t-shirt that I got at ranchosolano.com.
I love your shirt, Michael. Wow, nice shirt.
And girls love it too. A t-shirt that finally makes you stylish.
Welcome back to episode 9 of the D Leier podcast. My next question for Diallah is a bit more of a personal question, but just it's more of a good thing to reflect on. Throughout your last few years here at Rancho, just all your experiences in high school, what is something that you're grateful for, or an experience or something that happened that you won't forget from your high school experience, that either your family or a friend, something invaluable, some sort of moment that you had, share one of your best.
Yeah, I think what I was saying before, Rancho is definitely a place for really lucky people. Not everybody gets the chance to be in this environment, and our teachers really care because they get to know us really well. And I think that one of the moments here, just collectively, that's been really influential to me was the time I spent with Dr. Kirby, because I love music. It's always been a passion of mine, and I've always kind of had ins in the music industry, but that doesn't mean that I am by any means a really talented musician. Like I can play a little bit of piano, can play a little bit of guitar, but most of my music abilities lie within like technology. And she really taught me a lot about the basis of music, the science behind music, and how music theory is something that's so important, and it can change your mood, and it can just be a huge like part of your life. It can really change your outlook on things. And Mr. Terrell specifically, although I didn't take band, he was a big influence in my life too. It was almost like having a little music family at Rancho, because our class is so small. Like it's me and Liv and Maddie, and we just sit in there and learn and discuss. And it really reminded me that school isn't just a place you go to like learn things and then just throw them up on a test. Like that's not what it's for. Mr. Berman said something really important to me once too, and he said, you know, we don't teach because we want you to just regurgitate everything you know on a test. We teach because we hope that one day you're going to be sitting in class and I'm going to put something on the board and you're going to be able to say, what is that? And you're going to want to learn it. And at that point, learning becomes easy because you found your passion.
Exactly. I think that's very well said. I mean, I've definitely had my experiences with Mr. Berman, just like in regards to like work ethic and organization. And I think that that's definitely something that I'm also very grateful for, you know, being a student here for the last 4 years. Many of the different experiences that I've had with my teachers are unforgettable and will help me grow as I, you know, make my way into the workforce and grow up and become an adult. So 100%. And I guess to finish off our podcast, I just want to ask you, I guess, if you could give like any piece of advice just based on your life, like something you wish somebody would have told you, say 10 years ago, you know, just what you've learned so far, just offer some insight on some advice that you think everyone should have.
So obviously academics are a huge part of your growing up experience in your life, and especially living in Scottsdale and being a part of like the Rancho community, it's the only thing that matters sometimes. And I think what I would have wanted to learn going into it is that you don't need to know everything before you start your life. And, you know, I'm 17 and I don't think I know what I want to have for dinner tonight. So I don't know what I want to do for the next 10 years. And you don't have to know that. You don't have to at all. But it's really important that you take every experience that you can and learn about the world. And I think that if somebody had told me that, you know, my grades aren't everything and that I'm allowed to just take a moment to myself as long as I'm doing my best, that I'm still successful.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like as like when you're a kid, that like when people have high expectations for you and you're considered like an overachiever, I just feel like certain people have a tendency to put a lot of pressure on themselves to succeed, and that leads to just things like overthinking and just like, you know, just a huge internal struggle to just feel gratified with anything that you do. And I think that's a big problem for a lot of people in our current education system when it revolves around letter grades. You know, it doesn't always show like an exact estimate of the effort that's put in behind. And, you know, obviously every student is different and it's hard. I wish I had a solution to education, but, you know, overall, I'm so grateful that I've had the opportunity to be here at Rancho for the last 4 years and meet amazing people and have great introspective conversations like today's episode with Diallah. So thank you very much for joining me for episode 9 of the D Leier podcast. Is there anything that you'd like to add before we wrap it up here?
No, this is a cool podcast. We're really lucky to be at Rancho as a whole, and you know, just sitting in this room and like having this discussion with you is not something that a lot of people our age are able to do. Like having
100%.
intellectual conversations are just not on everybody's radar, and I think that being in this environment has really helped us.
100%. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll be back next week with episode 10. Take care.